Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So with all this craziness about non-fungible tokens, so there's one thing in life that is very imperfectly fungible that I wish were fungible, and that is our time. So what do I mean by that? Today's President's Day, and it was really nice to have one day off for a long weekend like this. I definitely had a lot of stuff personal stuff that I needed to catch up on. But what really sucks, well, two things suck. First of all, there are certain things that are closed on President's Day, right? If you need to take care of banking or getting your going to the DMV or something, you're probably out of luck, right? And second, the other thing that sucks is when we have more than just one day off, right? So during the holiday break, when I didn't know what to do with myself, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was lost. It was like being in outer space and suddenly losing your oxygen, right? I keep coming up with analogies. It's very hard to describe. But it was like I didn't know what to do with myself, especially because I wanted to help a couple students who were struggling catch up, and they didn't even want to do that. So I was lost. And it makes me wish I could take some of the time during the upcoming spring break or the holiday break and transfer it to use on days like today or days like when I'm really stressed out, right? I had a lot of stressful events during the fall semester last semester. But our time is highly infungible. Not only, first of all, it's infungible in the sense that my time is a very different animal from anybody else's time, right? We have different skill sets and different ambitions. Okay, I can accept that. What's really frustrating is that my time is not even fungible with my time, right? So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. Right now I'm programming an AI for the game of Rummikub. This is what it looks like. You see, the highlights of that are the function to generate all the legal moves. Let me see if I can find that. It's a recursive function with some dynamic programming. You got to see which runs you can put together. I've been improving upon this AI for a few years now, so. But I want to say since beginning the Rummikub project, well, I started it at the beginning of the pandemic when I learned about the game. Let's say I've spent 300 hours on it. It hasn't been much because I've been mostly focusing on backgammon and Azul and some of the bigger board games. So let's say I spent 300 hours on it. Usually I'll spend 3 to 4 hours at a time doing it. So you can imagine, let's say I've worked on it for 100 days, scattered across the last 4 years, right? Now, it would be a very different animal if I had 300 hours, but they were bunched up differently, right? So for example, if I had 300 hours in a row, which would be 12, 13 days, I don't think I could do what I did here, right? If I had a half hour a day for 600 days, even if they were consecutive, right? Even if they were consecutive days, but only a half hour, which I do have a lot of times, right? A lot of times there's a lot of time in between activities. Good luck trying to get anything good out of that, right? Because by the time you load up your program and get back in the mindset, your time's done, right? So good luck trying to do this on your lunch break or anything. It doesn't work, right? So it's one thing I kind of wish God had thought about when He created us, right? Make our time a little bit more fungible, right? Not only between ourselves, but maybe across people as well. That's a little bit trickier, obviously, because I know across people will probably never happen because God probably designed us to all have different ambitions. But across ourselves, I don't see why God made time so infungible, right? So what would I do if time became fungible? Well, if time became fungible, in theory, you could save up for something, right? So, for example, we all have a lot of dead time in the day that we could put in a bank probably, right? A fund for when we have important things to do. And for one thing, if time were fungible, a lot of things would be more viable to do, right? I talked about frustrations I have with tutoring because my students are scattered all over the place. Well, if time is fungible, it wouldn't bother me to have gaps in the day that I could devote to other stuff, right? All right, just a thought about one way to increase the fungibility of time, obviously, which is what I've been trying to champion in the last couple of weeks, is we could get rid of these mandatory holidays and allow people to take off when it makes sense for them to, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.